How do you manage hot temperatures so that you still max out the potential of these plants, which is a high cannabinoid concentration with a high terpene profile, as well as concentration of terpenes? This is such a great question. It's because we get an opportunity to talk about the law of tolerance. And what is the law of tolerance, or what does that look like visually? Well, you have on a bell curve, you have the ideal temperature, then you have the zones of tolerance, and that's what you guys are kind of asking for. And then you have the zones of intolerance, and it's really more of what you're asking for. Before it goes from a zone of tolerance to a zone of intolerance, what is that edge you can ride on? So let's bring out the ideal temperature. The ideal ambient temperature is 87 degrees because your ideal enzymatic production temperature is 83 degrees. And if your ambient temperature is 87, normally your leaf temperature is going to be 3 to 4 degrees cooler. Going back to what the original question was, is what's the hottest temperature? Well, if you're in Bakersfield, Fresno, Arizona, Boulder even, there's normally a few weeks out of the year, maybe longer, where your temperatures are going to be in the 100+ degrees. And how do you manage that? Well, there's a couple basic things you could do for preventive maintenance. If you know you're going to be dealing with temperature longer than 2 weeks, I would definitely be thinking about a shade cloth, okay? If you're growing in a greenhouse in these temperatures, definitely I would be considering using a shade cloth of some level. If you don't want to invest in a shade cloth, or you don't have the infrastructure to put a shade cloth over without damaging your plants, then I would recommend, if you don't have the ability to dim down your lights or run an AC unit, then the only other thing you can do is control or manage the hotter temperatures is with your water. You know me, I'm always recommending to put drops balance, and our newest product, BAM, it stands for Badass Microbes. It's bacterial only product. There's 83 separate bacteria in that product. And I recommend to ferment it, put it into your water at 15 mLs. Both of those two products are actually going to help increase the thresholds for water retention in your soil. So that's going to be a big part of helping to deal and manage with these hotter temperatures, especially if you can't control it. So if you're growing outdoors and you know you're going to be having a hot day, I would recommend going out and watering early in the morning initially, nice and slow, and to not water to the point where water comes out the bottom of the pot. I'm big on not watering like that, because what you end up doing is you end up flushing out your enzymes that your bacteria worked hard to produce in that 24-hour enzymatic production cycle. Same thing with your salts. You water to the point where water comes out the bottom, you're flushing out your money. So you just water to the point where you just want to make sure that surface tension isn't going to build up throughout the day through drybacks. And a big thing is also your roots travel out at a horizontal direction. And why is that important for understanding this, right? Your bacteria travel in and out of your roots in large relationship because your endofungi actually creating that relationship, right? And so because your bacteria travel on your roots, when you allow dryback periods to happen, your bacteria begin to go dormant, and your roots begin to slightly shrivel up, right? It creates minor stress. And as it gets hot, it begins to cook the roots and fries the roots. And before you know it, you end up killing where the majority of your bacteria in your soil live. And that then reduces the zones of tolerance that your plants can exist in. Let's say your ambient temperature was getting up to 100 degrees or 105 degrees every day, and you did not allow dryback periods to happen, your plants would be able to exist in that environment just fine, right? But then let's say your dryback periods happen, your roots start to fry up. Well, maybe your temperature, your plants wouldn't be able to do as well in 105, and they would start to get really stressed out around 100-degree temperatures because there's less roots to be able to take up as much water, so that the plant doesn't breathe as much through evapotranspiration. So that's why you want to water in the morning, right? You want to water so that there's no surface tension that builds up, and you want that water to travel as down as possible, because it takes time for water to continuously travel through your soil to break as much surface tension as possible deep down. And also, you don't want your plants to take up that water deep down too much, because a lot of chemistry is happening down there. In addition to that, what's happening down there is that's where your temperature stays the most consistent, is deep down, right? And so the cooler your first few inches of your soil stays, the cooler the rest of your deep down your soil stays. And so when you water initially and you allow that water to travel downward, you're keeping water and that chemistry there and working in the early morning. Then later in the day, around 1:30 in the afternoon, and remember, the hottest time of the day is around 3. And through past videos, I'll make sure to have this video overlaid, we've measured that even when your plants are totally drooping, it takes about an hour and a half for the plant to start to take up water and the leaves to start to perk back up again. So it takes about an hour and a half for new water you put into your soil to travel all the way up to the top of your plant. And that's my point. So when you, around 1:30 in the afternoon, knowing that you're going to have a hot day, you re-water again with drops of balance and BAM. And what that's going to do is that's going to very quickly cool off the surface of your soil. And your roots are going to be able to draw water from a cooler water reservoir as your temperature starts to peak up around 3 o'clock during the day. And so as the water is traveling up through your xylem, even if the ambient temperature gets 105, 107 degrees, because your media is cooler and the water you just put in was cooler, and the water traveling up through your xylem is cooler, and because your plants are also working to cool its own self off as well, there's a good chance that your internal temperatures of your plants probably 95 degrees, a full 10 degrees cooler than the ambient temperature of the air. And you really just got to get through that peak temperature throughout the day with enzymes still getting produced, because once again, that ideal temperature for enzymatic production is 87 degrees ambient, 83 degrees surface temperature of the plant. Although enzymes are still being produced at 95 degrees, they still are. It's not until water stops flowing, calcium stops flowing, does the enzymes also stop flowing as well. So as long as you keep everything else cooler, the plants are still going to be producing enzymes throughout the entire day. And when you do that day after day after day after day, your plants are going to still put on a massive yield, still going to maximize its cannabinoid and terpene production, and you're still going to have a great grow. Even though you didn't have a shade cloth and the ideal temperatures for growing, you're still going to produce top shelf quality outdoors. Those same principles transfer indoor as well. If you don't have the AC unit because you're maxed out your power already, well, it's cheaper to run a water reservoir. It's cheaper to get a bucket of water and put it outside somewhere or in a cool area and run cool water into your plants. And same thing, you run drip irrigation, have a certain amount of water come out to your pots every hour, doing your best to make sure not too much water flows out through the bottom of the pot. That's going to keep your pots cooler. It's going to keep your water drawing up cool water throughout the day, even in an indoor hot grow environment, because once you turn on your lights, that's your temperature pretty much, unless you, like I say, you have control with the AC unit. This is another way to control the internal temperatures of your plant and still max out the potential that your plant can do through cannabinoid production and terpene production.